My word, Rebecca. Cast your gaze upon that woman's grossly proportioned hindquarters. Its size is so preposterous that I'd wager she could in fact be a romantic liaison for an urban recording artist. I do not understand the merit such a gentleman could see in her. I suspect their interest lies in her physical similarity to a lady of ill repute. To wit, I believe her fanny to be excessively large. My goodness, but her posterior is anatomically improbable. It seems to know no shame. It is simply devoid of any color whatsoever.
I enjoy a larger gluteal masses. I'm not being facetious. Those fellows over there of similar ethnic origins would be hard-pressed to disagree. Upon viewing such a large posterior in conjunction with a thin waistline in close proximity, I gain an erection. I wish to approach her and attempt to initiate a romantic liaison, due largely to the excessive size of her rump. Clothed as she is in fashionable tight denim slacks, I cannot help but take special notice of said rump. Young lady, I wish to have a romantic liaison with you, and at the same time, take a photograph of you, and of the large rump which I believe I previously made mention of. My colleagues attempted to dissuade me from this course of action due to some past indiscretions on your part. However, your posterior is overriding my better judgment, and, again, giving me an erection. Oh, you wish to take a ride in my Mercedes sedan? Despite your clear obsession with class and status, I will do so, for you are unusually attractive. I've observed the usual women I socialize with at the disco, and have grown weary of the chase. You, however, are clearly perspiring and sexually aroused, and willing to rush to a carnal encounter. I have grown weary of periodicals which present leaner, firmer buttocks as the gold standard. If one were to ask the opinion of the typical African American, he would most likely say that larger buttocks are far more attractive. So gentlemen indeed, does your significant other sport a rump of considerable size? Indubitably. Well, she should use it in a provocative dance. Because she has a highly desirable bottom. I find that you have the countenance of a woman from the Los Angeles area, with the distaff rump more commonly associated with the California Bay Area, specifically Oakland. Well, I prefer bottoms spherical and large, like unto gods among men, and at social events I find myself unable to rein in my most base desires. It can be quite shocking. My sole wish is to retire with you to my abode, where I shall, luck permitting, proceed to grunt with extreme sexual satisfaction. Nay, I believe I shall grunt twice. My standard for women goes beyond pornographic materials, as I feel the specter of plastic surgery cheapens the experience. To reiterate my earlier point, I enjoy a rump that's unusually large, so that is generally what I'm looking for. My weakness for superior rumps is well known, which unfortunately often leads to difficulties in successfully wooing a potential mate. In reviewing certain instances of popular media, I find that the typical woman is far too svelte for my liking, and as such any attempts at a seductive walk are ineffective. If you personally find that type of woman attractive, so be it. I, however, prefer the body type of deceased track and field star Florence Griffith Joyner. Attention heavier ladies, I wish to know you in the biblical sense. I will not physically abuse you, or use space language, but be aware that I intend to engage in vaginal intercourse for the duration of the evening. Yes, the larger woman is the paradigm of beauty. I'm aware that some less evolved individuals might not share my viewpoint. This is due to their inferior sexual expertise, whereas I'm the master of the art. This is due to the tremendous length and girth of my penis, combined with my dedication to prolonged use of said penis in vaginal intercourse. Women I have been addressing.
Excuse me?
Women I have been addressing.
You have our attention.
If you indeed wish to enjoy the luxury of my fine Mercedes sedan,
it would be our pleasure.
I humbly request that you turn and bend such that the curve of your buttocks is maximized. Even lowly Caucasians must agree at this point that this is a fine display of human anatomy. A young lady has an attractive behind. The example set by Cosmopolitan magazine does not dovetail with my own reasoning. For instance, a dress size of 91.44 centimeters by 60.96 centimeters by 91.44 centimeters would only present any kind of a lower in my eyes, were she diminutive in stature, say to the tune of approximately 1.6002 meters. I'm aware that your partner enjoys driving Honda-branded vehicles whilst listening to self-help tapes by fitness guru Jane Fonda. However, be aware that Jane Fonda's posterior is shamefully lean and unsatisfying. My penis, if you will forgive a spot of anthropomorphizing, has little interest in a female with an undersized rump. Please feel free to engage in physical training intended to enhance your core region, but I implore you to avoid any activity which might threaten the shape and feel of your behind. Certain individuals of similar ethnic descent may yield to the narrow thought processes of society as a whole, and avoid a larger rump. However, rest assured that I shall stand ready to collect that which they so casually toss aside. A side note to the professional models appearing in the popular media, I do not feel you serve as any sort of valid example of a beautiful woman. I vastly prefer a woman of African American descent who appreciates the merits of a high-carb diet. A fellow who was a bit of a rival took umbrage at my interest in his coterie of female acquaintances. I chose to pursue certain of these ladies heedless of his opposition. In conclusion, I wish to sum up this discussion by reiterating to the female members of my audience that should they be interested in long sessions of vaginal intercourse, they need only dial 1-900-649-2568. Long-distance charges may apply, and it shall be so. That young lady has an attractive behind. She has a slim waist in conjunction with a large rump. She has a slim waist in conjunction with a large rump. She has a slim waist in conjunction with a large rump. She has a slim waist in conjunction with a large rump.